Are you a mediocre man? You play sports, but you just can't seem to get to the head of the pack. You just can't get onto that podium to taste the sweet, sweet taste of victory. Well, then do I have the hack for you. Identify as a woman and become an instant champion. Today, we're going to look at the cowardly men who are losers in the male division, but world champions in the women's divisions. We'll start with Rachel McKinnon, a man in women's cycling. And yes, for the remainder of the video, I'll be wearing the wig and identifying as a woman, so lefties can't get mad at me for my perspective and opinion. Now stick around till the end of the video where this weirdo gets too big for his britches, too much ego in the women's division, and says, let's see what happens if I go back to the men's division.
I like to say that the bike doesn't care about what gender you were assigned at birth. The bike doesn't judge you.
Rachel McKinnon is getting set to compete in one of her first races of the season. A small crowd of spectators has gathered just outside of Atlanta.
You guys, this is called Dick Lane. How very appropriate.
Rachel McKinnon winding up now.
No one appears too concerned with McKinnon during her time trial, but in the past, she's found herself at the center of a political firestorm. She's transgender, and last year, she won a world championship for her age group, racing against women.
World champion. You're shitting me.
McKinnon takes it into world champion, oh Canada.
The world championship win was a little historic.
A little historic.
And it's completely surreal that I'm that person. Like, I'm just some girl from Victoria, BC.
You're some dude.
Who just wanted to race her bike.
Normally, the win would have attracted very little media attention, but not this time.
A Canadian transgender athlete is facing a backlash after winning the Cycling World Championship. Rachel McKinnon, who was born male...
She says the reaction online was overwhelming.
It's almost like people, it doesn't sit right with them for a man to just go and clearly dominate in a women's sport because of the biological advantage. It's almost like it rubs us the wrong way.
A lot of support, but good goddess, the amount of backlash was a new level for me. I estimated it was about 3,000 to 1 negative and generally very hateful comments.
It's almost like the ratio is telling you something.
2 positive ones.
And she's become a central part of the roiling debate around rules, rights, and biology in elite sport. At issue just how to include trans women in competition.
Here's how you include trans women in competition. You create an entirely separate category for them. Are you a man identifying as a woman? Here's your division. Go knock each other out. Have fun. Are you a woman identifying as a man? Here you go. But the fun thing of sports is seeing who is the best of the best in that category, whether it be semi-professional, professional, men, women. You want to see who's the best in that category. And when you have transgender people coming in, it just mucks it all up.
The idea that we need to protect women's or female sport from other women and females is itself inherently discriminatory. No testosterone policy will ever work. They should respect an athlete's legally recognized sex or gender.
Legally recognized. This must be Canada, right? Because you're either born a man or a woman, and that's about it.
McKinnon publicly posted her testosterone levels online to show just how low they are, nearly indetectable. She believes trans athletes shouldn't be forced to take hormone therapy at all. That's a stark contrast to the type of...
No hormonal therapy at all. Yeah, literally, I can just, pop on a rainbow jersey and go dominate. Absolutely nothing done to me hormonally, medically. I just have to say, I'm a woman.
I think a lot of women worldwide feel that's blatantly unfair, because if a person has gone through puberty with the full sort of testosterone levels that make them taller and their lungs bigger and their muscles bigger and their frame size larger, they have just incredible advantage. It doesn't matter that you take down their testosterone for 1 year.
She says competitive sports already separate people based on their body type.
Yeah, we have middleweight, heavyweight boxers.
For instance, she says flyweight boxers don't compete against heavyweights. In the U.S., trans athletes have sparked a lot of debate. In Connecticut, some parents started a petition demanding a rule change after 2 trans athletes started winning girls' high school sprint races.
It's just the way they run. If I open my hands like this, maybe people won't notice that I'm a dude.
Online, the conversation has turned particularly toxic, with insults thrown from all sides. Blade says many are afraid to speak up and share their opinions.
Everybody's made to feel like a bigot if they say something wrong, and then the mob comes after you, the social media mob. I feel like we need to really have this conversation in a safe way, where we're all able to say what we want to say, without just assuming that we all hate the other side.
Bearden is a road racer and recently won a women's state championship. She believes trans athletes should be required to take hormone therapy and get their testosterone levels tested, because her performance data shows just what kind of difference it can make.
Gives me a safe place in the women I compete with, knowing that I'm legit, let's say. You know, there's no questions that when I'm on that podium that I'm on there because of any other reason than I'm an athlete and I train my ass off every single day.
I'm a pathetic cheater too, but I'm doing it more legitimately than other ones.
Women's field that you have to comply with the rules that are out currently right now.
Like, I want to dominate and I want to be on the podium, but you can't do it too unless you're like exactly the same testosterone as me, because this is my world and I'm dominating and you can't.
Rachel McKinnon said she had to ask 4 people to flag the hateful content that was coming in on her Twitter feed.
These fears that trans women are a threat to women's sport are irrational fears of trans women, which is the dictionary definition of transphobia. And we need to call it what it is.
McKinnon may be one of the most vocal activists in this entire debate, but tonight at this race, she was quieter, even appearing apprehensive. She chose to race alongside the men in one event because they would push her.
Blazing away from the field.
She ended up finishing well back.
Dead last.
Afterwards, though, it was the women who wanted to meet her.
I hope that by the time an athlete who's trans gets in the Olympics, that we celebrate that.
Oh, we're getting to that. Laurel Hubbard's next. But dead last, right? And women still are like, oh my gosh, you're so great. You're so brave. You suck in the men's division, but you absolutely dominate us women.
And not revisit this debate over again, whether it's fair or not.
But that might be wishful thinking. Right now, this issue remains very divisive.
Give me the
and
podium.
as the next Olympics get closer, it's possible the debate could get even louder.
Now, Laurel Hubbard did it right. He could have been an Olympic gold medalist in the women's division, but he decided to just settle on being the first trans athlete in the Olympics. I mean, look at how easy it would have been for him to lift this, and he just pretends he can't do it. It's such a racket.
Which is the clean and jerk, and they take both your scores and multiply them. He misses this, doesn't make a lift, and he's eliminated. Oh, nearly, nah, threw it away, slips up. Thanks for coming. Like, you just wasted a spot for a biological female from New Zealand that could have been competing, or anyone else from another country who could have had a better score. Look at this. Laurel Hubbard has been unceremoniously, historically, a failure at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which is being held in 2021 because of, you know what. This was no more than a stunt from the International Olympic Committee to be praised for saying, we have our first transgender athlete in the Olympics at Tokyo in 2021. To be put on a pedestal to say, we've got the first trans athlete. Oh, look at us, we're so special.
Now let's head over to swimming for Lia Thomas.
Thomas wins the NCAA championship.
And controversy. Lia Thomas, a swimmer on the University of Pennsylvania's women's swim team, has become the first openly transgender athlete to win a Division I NCAA championship.
I try to focus on my swimming, what I need to do to get ready for my races, and just try to block out everything else.
Outside of the arena, dueling protests.
This isn't about hate. This is about identities do not play sports. Bodies play sports. And Lia Thomas will always have a male body.
Yeah.
A dog whistle for transphobia. If we are going to allow Leah to compete, then we need to give her a chance to win.
This protester inside the arena holding up a sign reading, "Save Women's Sports." Thomas competed on the men's team for 3 seasons before undergoing years of hormone therapy. Nancy Hogshead-Makar is a women's rights attorney and former Olympic swimmer.
Leah Thomas has been through puberty, so that's 10 years of having testosterone, making broader shoulders and bigger lungs and strength.
Hogshead-Makar wrote a letter to UPenn last month, signed by 16 athletes on the school swim team, saying, quote, Leah holds an unfair advantage over competition in the women's category, as evidenced by her rankings that have bounced from number 462 as a male to number 1 as a female.
Wow, 462 to number 1. You know, if you're transgender and you want to go bake a cake, and you want to bake a cake against someone else in a cooking competition, go for it. You know, there's no distinct advantage in the kitchen. But when you're doing it in these physical sports, even if you're not playing directly against them like basketball or football, there's an advantage if you've gone through puberty. Anyway, what do you think about men and women's sports? Should it be based on testosterone levels? Should it be based on a transition surgery? Or should it just be banned altogether? Comment down below and be sure to subscribe to Transgender Vibes, Conservative Vibes, and I'll see you next time.